In the 2-year-long Mexican-American War, Mexico lost a large percentage of its land to the United States. But why did this war even start? Hey historians, welcome back to the Why in History. I'm your host, Alexander. The story of the Mexican-American War goes back to 1836, when Texas gained its independence from Mexico after the Texas Revolution ended. During the last battle, the Battle of San Jacinto, the Mexican president and general, Antonio López de Santa Anna, was captured and taken prisoner by the Texas revolutionaries. To end the conflict, the public and private treaties of Velasco were signed. The public treaty stopped the fighting, but the private one was a bit more complicated. It stated that Santa Anna would be released from custody, and in exchange, he would, as one of the most powerful men in Mexico, convince everyone to recognize Texas's independence. It also set Texas's border with Mexico to the Rio Grande. Obviously, Mexico didn't like this and violated most of the treaty's terms. Santa Anna was stripped of the presidency, and more importantly, Mexico refused to recognize Texas's independence, arguing that the treaties were invalid because they were signed by Santa Anna while he was still a prisoner. They also said the border between Texas and Mexico was at the Nueces River, not the Rio Grande. Texas also violated the private treaty by refusing to release Santa Anna, and needless to say, the treaties never went into effect. Even though Mexico didn't recognize Texas, it would operate as an independent country for the next 9 years. Most of Texas wanted to join the United States, and in 1843, the president of the US at the time secretly negotiated a treaty with Texas for its annexation. However, the treaty took a while to pass, so once it made its way from Congress to Texas and then back to the president, Tyler had been replaced by James K. Polk. On December 29, 1845, Texas was officially admitted as the 28th state, but by annexing it, the US inherited a whole bunch of problems, most prominently, the issue of the border with Mexico. To Polk, this was worth it, as he was a firm believer in the concept of manifest destiny. Essentially, manifest destiny was the belief that the US was destined to rule all the land from the Atlantic to the Pacific. The US wanted to resolve the dispute, so they offered to buy the land up to the Rio Grande from Mexico numerous times, including one time in November 1845, where the US offered to pay $25 million in exchange for Texas and Mexico's 2 northern provinces, which Mexico rejected. A few months after annexing Texas, Polk felt he needed to make clear that the border was at the Rio Grande, so he stationed troops along the border with Mexico. Soon, some of them decided to build a fort, which they aptly named Fort Texas. After Mexico told them to leave and they refused, Mexico's army attacked a small US force in the Thornton Affair of April 25, 1846. The Mexicans also decided to besiege Fort Texas, and after a few more battles, the US finally declared war. About 2 years after that, the US forced an end to the conflict by capturing Mexico's capital, Mexico City. In the war-ending 1848 Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, Mexico formally recognized Texas as a part of the United States and gave up its 2 northern provinces. In exchange for this land, the US paid Mexico $15 million, which is $10 million less than they had offered before the war. The Mexican Cession makes up present-day Colorado, New Mexico, Utah, Arizona, Nevada, California, and part of Wyoming. Almost 70 years later, Germany would take advantage of Mexico's desire to regain its lost territory, resulting in the US entering World War I. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Also, if you have any questions you want me to answer, make sure to leave them for me in the comments. I'll see you in the next video.